The gavel struck. Cameras snapped like gunfire. Kody Brown, the once smiling patriarch of America's most famous plural marriage, now sat at the defendant's table, a man charged with fraud, betrayal, and secrets that could destroy him. Would he walk free, or would his empire collapse in chains? The massive wooden doors of the Arizona courthouse creaked open, and the air shifted. Reporters surged forward, microphones thrust like weapons. Kody, do you have anything to say? Christine, are you ready to face him? Flashes burst in blinding light, paparazzi pressing in until suddenly, silence. The kind of silence before a storm. Inside courtroom 4B, the drama was about to eclipse everything. The broken marriages, the tanking ratings, the bitter interviews. This wasn't about who wore the pants in the Brown family. It was about who owned the land, the money, and the truth. Kody sat rigid, fingers gripping the polished table so tightly his knuckles turned bone white. He tried to look confident, but his darting eyes betrayed him, searching desperately for allies who weren't there. Across the room, the prosecution's seats were filled with familiar faces. Christine sat tall, jaw locked, her eyes sharp as steel. Beside her, Janelle whispered something that drew the faintest smile across Christine's lips. At the end sat Mary, silent, impassive, granite. Robyn, Kody's only remaining wife, was absent. Some whispered she stayed home. Others claimed she waited in the shadows. The courtroom buzzed until the judge, a stern man with a steel beard and eyes that could cut through lies, adjusted his glasses. His voice sliced through the air. Court is now in session. The state of Arizona versus Kody Brown. Gasps rippled across the gallery. The clerk read the charges, each word falling like a hammer blow. Fraud, concealment of assets, misrepresentation of property, willful violation of marital financial trust. Kody flushed red, muttering furiously to his attorney. The jury wasn't watching the lawyer. They were watching him, his clenched jaw, his rapid breathing. But the real storm wasn't the charges. It was the evidence. Prosecutor Marissa Caldwell rose, tall and commanding, heels cracking against the polished floor. She carried a thick file that gleamed under the lights. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," she began, voice calm but sharp. "What you will hear is not a story of jealousy or broken vows. It is a story of deception, of money hidden, of assets stolen from women who trusted him." She pointed straight at Kody. He flinched. This man built his empire on love and unity. But behind closed doors, he schemed to hoard property and wealth. Property that was never his alone. Christine's eyes never wavered. Janelle's lips pressed tight. The gallery buzzed like a hive. "This is bigger than Coyote Pass," someone muttered too loudly. Marissa's voice hardened. "We will show you bank statements, signed deeds, testimony. We will prove that Mr. Brown concealed over $258,000 in secret accounts, money that by law belonged to his family. Money that he funneled into Robyn Brown's name to shield it from division." The jury leaned forward. A woman furrowed her brow so deeply it carved lines across her forehead. Kody's lawyer stood. "Objection, Your Honor. Not authenticated." "Overruled," the judge replied coldly. "They'll be admitted." Kody sagged into his chair, lips curled in fury. His mask slipped. The charming husband America once knew was gone. Then came the knife. The prosecutor placed a deed on the evidence board. Kody's bold signature sprawled across it. The fine print revealed it all. He had transferred part of Coyote Pass into a private trust, naming only himself and Robyn as beneficiaries. The courtroom erupted. Christine's face froze like stone. Janelle's jaw clamped shut as though she might scream. And then came the recording. Kody's voice crackled through the speakers, clear, unmistakable. "I just need to make sure Robyn and I are safe. The others, they'll fend for themselves." "They always do." Christine's eyes blazed. Janelle shook her head in disbelief. A single tear slid down Mary's cheek. The jury shifted uneasily, exchanging glances as whispers filled the gallery until the judge slammed his gavel. That recording was only the beginning. Witnesses waited outside, ready to dismantle Kody's lies piece by piece. The defense scrambled. Kody's lawyer hissed in his ear. But Kody sat rigid, hands clasped on his knees, eyes wild. Control, the one thing he had always clung to, was slipping away. The judge called recess. We will continue with witness testimony following the break. Court is adjourned. The gavel fell. The room erupted. Reporters stormed out. Christine stood tall, Janelle at her side. Mary slipped quietly away. Kody remained frozen, staring at the empty seat where Robyn should have been. Deep down he knew this wasn't just a trial. It was an unraveling. At 10:45 a.m., the bailiff's voice boomed. Call your first witness. Marissa smoothed her jacket, turned toward the gallery. Christine Brown rose. Her heels echoed like a drumbeat. Gone was the timid woman from TLC confessionals. This Christine was battle-hardened, marching into war. She took the stand, placed her hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Her voice was clear, but beneath it lay a weight, a reckoning years in the making. She sat, eyes locked on the prosecutor, refusing to even glance at Kody. And from the moment Christine spoke, the courtroom understood. This wasn't testimony. This was vengeance. The prosecutor moved closer, her voice steady. Mrs. Brown, you were spiritually married to the defendant, Kody Brown, for more than 25 years. Is that correct? Christine nodded. Yes. And did you participate in the family's financial decisions? Christine let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Participate? No, I was informed when it suited him. But decisions? Conversations? Those were never for me. The jury scribbled furiously. One juror, a woman with a sharp bob haircut, leaned forward, eyes narrowed. She was hooked. Describe the Coyote Pass property, Marissa pressed. Christine's chest rose and fell as she inhaled deeply. Coyote Pass was supposed to be our dream, all of us. He told us it would be equal, that each wife would build a home there, that it was for the family. But it wasn't the truth. Kody shifted at the defense table, whispering to his lawyer. His jaw was clenched tight. Christine's voice cut through the silence. In 2019, I learned by accident that portions of the property had been moved into a trust. A trust in only his and Robyn's names. We had no idea. He stood in front of cameras saying we were united while secretly cutting us out. Whispers rippled through the gallery. Pens scratched across paper. How did you find out? The prosecutor asked. Christine's lips tightened, her eyes burning. Mary overheard something. She told me. When I asked Kody, he dismissed me. Told me I was paranoid, said I didn't understand finances, that he was protecting us. Her voice cracked, not with weakness but with rage too long contained. Protecting us? He wasn't protecting anyone but himself and Robyn. Kody leaned forward, face flushed with fury, whispering harshly to his lawyer. But the jury wasn't watching him anymore. They were watching Christine, listening to 25 years of silence being shattered. Mrs. Brown, the prosecutor continued, pacing slowly. Did you ever witness the defendant making financial decisions without consulting the other wives? Christine's eyes finally cut toward Kody, cold and final. Every time. Cars, loans, transfers. He spent family money however he wanted. And when we questioned him, he mocked us. Made us feel stupid. Told us to be grateful he was handling it. A juror frowned, arms crossed. Another scribbled so furiously his pencil snapped. Can you describe the day you decided to leave? The air shifted. Even the judge leaned forward slightly. Christine's throat tightened. For the first time, her voice wavered. It was the day I knew he didn't love me. Not really. Not anymore. He loved my loyalty, my silence, my compliance. When I stopped giving those, I was cut off. That same day, I saw a bank transfer. $40,000, straight into Robyn's account. When I asked him about it, he said, her voice hardened, sharp as a blade. He said, it's for the future, our future. Mine and Robyn's, not yours, not Janelle's, not Mary's. Gasps rippled across the room. Kody slammed his fist on the table. His lawyer restrained him as he mouthed furiously, that's a lie. Christine didn't flinch. The prosecutor lifted a file. Your Honor, we present Exhibit C, records of the $40,000 transfer. She turned to Christine. Mrs. Brown, is this what you witnessed? Christine looked down at the document, jaw tight. Yes, that's it. And whose name is on that account? Christine's gaze locked on Kody as she answered, Robyn Brown. The courtroom exploded in whispers until the judge banged his gavel for silence. The prosecutor stepped back, giving Christine space. Mrs. Brown, how did this discovery impact you? Christine's eyes filled with tears, but her voice stayed unshaken. It destroyed me. Not because of the money, but because it confirmed everything I feared. That my sacrifices, my years, my children's future meant nothing. He chose Robyn, he chose money, and he lied about everything. The silence that followed pressed down like stone. Even the reporters stopped writing. Christine leaned forward, her voice low, trembling with fury. There's something else. The prosecutor raised her brows. Go on. Christine drew a ragged breath. The prosecutor raised her brows. Go on. Christine drew a ragged breath. The night before I told him I was leaving, he summoned me to the den. He told me if I left, I'd get nothing. No land. No money. Nothing. He said the courts couldn't touch him because everything was already tied up. And then he said, her eyes locked onto Kody, blazing. He said, you'll crawl back penniless. They always do. The courtroom gasped as one. The judge's gavel thundered down. Order, order in the court! Christine's hands trembled, but her stare never left Kody. His mask cracked, jaw flexing, nostrils flaring, rage boiling through the facade. The prosecutor smiled, satisfied. No further questions. The defense attorney rose, a man in a sharp gray suit with slicked-back hair. He moved toward Christine slowly, smiling like a predator circling prey. Mrs. Brown, you've been separated from my client for some time now, correct? Christine's lips pressed thin. Yes, and your feelings toward him? They aren't exactly warm, are they? Christine gave a bitter laugh. That's one way of putting it. So it would be safe to say you might be biased. Christine's expression hardened. Biased? No, I'm not biased. I'm finally free to speak. The lawyer smirked. Of course, but isn't it true that after leaving you gave interviews? Wrote blogs? Cashed in on your version of events? Christine's eyes blazed. Her words cut like steel. Yes, I told the truth. And I'll keep telling it. Because truth is the only weapon I have against a man who silenced me for 25 years. The gallery erupted in gasps. The attorney's smirk faltered. He tried again. And isn't it true that you could benefit financially if my client were convicted? Christine leaned forward, voice deadly calm. I'll benefit if the truth is seen. If justice is served, money doesn't buy back decades of lies. The lawyer shuffled his papers, flustered. The damage was done. Christine hadn't been weakened. She had been sharpened. Her testimony wasn't reopening wounds. It was twisting. Christine Brown returned to the witness stand, but this time it wasn't reality TV drama. It was war. Defense attorney Martin Hale tried to destroy her credibility by flashing a 2018 document that appeared to show she'd signed away her rights. But Christine stood firm, declaring Kody lied, bullied and gaslit her. And just when it seemed the jury might waver, prosecutor Marissa Caldwell struck back, revealing the so-called waiver was never notarized, never recorded, and essentially worthless, leaving Kody pale and shaken as the courtroom gasped. And then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. As Janelle Brown rose, calm and cold, unfolding years of financial records and telling the jury she alone handled the money, that she knew exactly where it came from and where it went, exposing shell companies with no workers, no property, just Kody's name. And in that instant, it became clear. Christine had lit the fire, but Janelle was about to burn his empire to the ground. The knife. And with that, the entire room froze. Janelle's calm voice carried more weight than any outburst Kody could muster. She explained how money was quietly funneled through those empty shell companies, then redirected into accounts only Kody and Robyn controlled, accounts that the other wives never even knew existed. Jurors leaned forward, pens scratching furiously as Janelle detailed withdrawals timed perfectly with Christine's departure and Garrison's confrontation, a pattern too precise to ignore. Kody shifted in his chair, his hand gripping the table until his knuckles turned white. while Robyn fidgeted beside him, eyes darting toward the floor as Janelle listed transaction after transaction. The very proof Christine had hinted at, now laid bare in black and white. And when Janelle finally looked up from her folder and told the jury, "He didn't just cut us off emotionally, he cut us off financially. He kept us trapped." The silence that followed was heavier than any gavel strike, the kind of silence that spelled doom for Kody's carefully constructed empire.